We're gonna start our program with the first session. I'm gonna call up Sheikh Haifaa to begin her presentation, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana innaka sami'un mujibud du'a. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min 'ilmin la yanfa' wa qalbin la yakhsha wa nafsin la tashba' wa du'a'in la yusma'. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي جزاكم الله خير. It's beautiful to have this much interest. 1998 I was resident and there was a resident with us who was gay. No one used the name. No one used the term. No one talked about it. We all knew. And now these days, recently I was in a physician office and I had to fill the form, information and then gender, male, female, other. Apply for application in a hospital, a physician. I have to say this again. So things have changed completely. I say this to my family. I lost my mom, I was young, and I said, if my mom comes back and if Allah decides to bring her back, she will say, send me back again. Things has changed dramatically. The basics that no one even wondered about became questionable. We're questioning everything. May Allah protect you. And I really pray a lot for the younger generation. They are exposed to so many things, and this is to all parents. You really need to reality. You really need to know reality. I was recently sent a picture, I don't know how many of you have seen it. It was in a school in New Jersey. It was 5th or 6th grade, I don't remember. The picture is a girl with hijab, and she was saying, I am LGBT. To the 5th grader, and a girl with hijab. And this is why when Sheikh Mustafa, subhanAllah, we were talking casually, remember? This was just after Ramadan, and he said, I'm thinking of doing this. I said, yes, time has come up, and we need to do a proper seminar. Time for us as Muslims to accept that things are changing, but don't accept the change unless the change comes with our deen. We cannot brush it. We cannot say, no, this is not me, this is not my family. And you're not living in reality. But that doesn't mean I'm okay with it. And this is number one fact from all what we're going to learn today. We need to learn the facts, but that doesn't mean we accept it. And we should not be shy to say we don't accept it, but in the right words and in the right time. That's the most important thing. Not only because it's political and all this, but because Islam tells us this. So I'm going to take you first about a couple of things here. So this basically, in May, end of May, I was actually contacted by Sheikh Omar Suleiman, and he said, we are planning to release a statement, and we want you to sign on the statement. So the statement was basically about sexuality. It's actually navigating the differences in Islam. And it was very well written, and it was very well taken. Of course, there's always people who's going to tell you, I don't agree, I disagree, they will attack it. And this was signed by more than, how many now? The 3 speakers, by the way, are, 3 of us signed it. I don't know how many we are now. Over 300. When I signed, it was like maybe 50. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So what did it do? It basically made it public, what Islam says about LGBT. So when your son and daughter go to school, and they are 7 or 8 years old, or they are teenagers, and they say, I can do this, this is going to support them. So basically, what is the Islam position, as you can see it here, on sexuality and gender? This is actually I took it exactly from the statement. By the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sexual relationship, and I made it black for, like bold, so you can read it right. Sexual relationships are permitted within the bounds of marriage. This needs to be absolutely engraved in every person in this room, and it will never change. You know why? Because it's not my word, or your word, or my opinion, or your opinion. It's the one who created us, and the one we are in his house said that. It is in bounds of marriage. And marriage can only, that's also his words, can occur between a man and a woman in the Quran, and they give you some of the references, which some of them I will share it with you. Do not go near fornication. Allah said this in Surah Al-Isra. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Don't get close to. Zina literally has no other meaning other than marriage, than intimate relationship outside marriage. There is no other definition of it. So intimate relationship. And then these aspects of Islam are unambiguously established in the Quran, teaching of Rasul ﷺ, and the scholarly opinion. And as a result, they have gained the status of ijma'. For those of you who, just so we are here all to learn, ijma', where do we get our sources? How do I say this is halal, this is haram? There is mainly three main sources first. You go to the Quran, it is not there or not very clear. You go to the Sunnah, it is not there or it is not very clear. You go to the ijma', consensus. The scholars, the real scholars of that time, where their hearts were connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they agreed. That is it, no one can change it. These are the strongest three. No different opinion in madhahab, in fiqh, when these three are there, or one of them. So navigating the difference, that's basically the statement. Where do we get our morality? Who says so? I always say this, some of you have heard this many times from me in the Tuesday program. Who said so? It's not I don't like it, it doesn't befit, this is back home, we are in America, not in Islam. And I say this and I want to make it clear to everybody, Islam does not have nationality. There is no American Islam, and there is no Syrian Islam, and there is no Far East Islam. Islam is Islam, period. We can say it is difficult, I can do it, I need to learn, that's absolutely fine. But we will not change it. Because I can't change it, and even if I want to do that, he will not let me. Let's literally put facts today, accept it, and see how we're going to navigate. So the source of morality for us is, number one is what? Alhamdulillah. And number two is the Sunnah. And this is what I am going to be covering for you. What does Islam teaches me, number one? We are, what days we are? The day of the Hijjah. So people are, today actually, unfortunately, Jeddah airport closed for the Hajj. That's it. Allah did not invite us this year. What does Hajj teaches you? And the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim, and the slaughter of the animal, the qurbani that all of us, walillah alhamd, have done. What does it teach me, this word? What is submission? Sami'na wa ata'na. I hear and I obey. And I hear who? I don't hear me. I don't hear you. I don't hear your opinion because I like you. Or I don't hear your opinion because I don't like you. I hear what he, subhanahu wa ta'ala, said. And through, either directly through the Quran or through Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. I need you to memorize this. This is a clear verse in the Quran. It's actually in Surah Al-Ahzab. وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ. This is one of the places in the Quran where the gender is separated. To focus on the concept. There is no believer. A he believer or a she believer. إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا. When Allah decreed, meaning Allah said something, and the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, this is what I want you all to know. أَن يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. I have no choice. It's not my choice. I can say it's difficult, I'm going to try to do it, but I can't deny it. That's why there's no choice. It is not fitting for a believer, man or a woman, when a matter has been decided by Allah and His Messenger, to have an option or opinion about their decision. If anyone disobeys Allah and His Messenger, he's indeed in a clearly wrong path. Just to give you an idea where this was revealed. This is when Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam wanted to marry Zainab, Sayyidah Zainab. And Sayyidah Zainab was the wife of Zayd, who he raised him up. And this was a big problem at that time, because they used to call Zayd the son of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And Allah put this to tell even Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, when Allah says something, you do it. What about you and me? And we are shy. Some of us, and I'm not saying about here, but I see people are shy to even say they are Muslim. I had a mother that last few days ago, and she was in tears. And she went to pick up her child, and the child is 12 years old, to go for Jumu'ah. And said to the teacher in front of the son, I need to take him for Jumu'ah prayer. In the car, the son said, why did you say that? Why didn't you say we have an appointment? We have a problem of identity as Muslims. And I told her, you're crying, it makes me happy because you identify the problem. We need to engrave in our children, and I will say in us first, that Allah, I don't want to say the word chosen because we sound like arrogant, but Allah gifted us with something we have to be so proud of. What are you ashamed of? And I say this to myself, why the people who are on falsehood so happy and they're proud and they do parade, and we Muslims, we are so shy and in the back. There is many people don't even want to hear about this topic that we are today. And when Allah says something, it doesn't change. That's it. وَتَمَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ صِدْقًا وَعَدْلًا لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِهِ. This is in Surah Al-An'am. Tammat, completed, finished. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says something in the Quran, it will never change. It will never change. You want to change your opinion, change. But when I am you in front of Allah, I better have a good reason. Why did I change? And see what we will say to Him, subhanahu. So it is completed. Absolutely completed. And there is no change. So I want to come now to Sayyidina Lut. Who is he? And I took actually this from the Wikipedia, because this will be read by everybody. So who is he? He's actually the nephew of Sayyidina Ibrahim. And he's a prophet, we all know that. And he lived in a town called Sadim. That's why the word Sudani comes from it. Many, and this is another to my surprise, again recently someone said to me, many people don't know that Sayyidina Lut, as a prophet, what was the issue of his people? They think that he is like anybody else, you know, Abudullah, worship Allah. His people were not worshipping Allah. Many people, Muslims I'm talking about, especially younger, this is number one, we need to teach them that this is a special prophet who, when he called his people, he didn't call them to Allah. I challenge anyone in this room, go to the Quran, get the story of Sayyidina Lut, and see if he said to his people, Abudullah. All the prophets, if you go to Surah Al-Shu'ara, what we just beautifully heard, all the prophets says, Abudullah ma lakum min ilahin ghayruh. Worship Allah, there is no other God. Except Sayyidina Lut when he read, أَتَأْتُونَ الذُّكْرَانَ مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. Do you come to the male? وَتَذَرُونَ مَا خَلَقَ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ. And you leave behind what Allah have decreed, what Allah have created for you from the female spouses. So Sayyidina Lut, the uniqueness about him calling his people was about sexuality. In fact, homosexuality. And who they are, the people of Lut. And I am going to share with you this from Surah Al-A'raf. There's so many places, right? So here you go. وَلُوطًا إِذْ قَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ. And this is the first time he's mentioned in the Quran. This is in Surah Al-A'raf. This is in 80 to 83. I want you all to read. I don't know if everybody can read this, but if you cannot read it, the woman, I'm sure you can. I don't know if this is on that screen. If not, get your Quran and follow me. Because there's something unique about this. Number one, I just shared it with you. أَتَأْتُونَ الْفَاحِشَةَ. Fahisha is intimate relationship outside marriage. And also is another term in the Quran used for immorality. But then, مَا سَبَقَكُمْ بِهَا مِنْ أَحَدٍ مِنَ الْعَالَمِينَ. No one else before you have done it. No one else before you have done it. What did you invent, as we say? Right? And then he explained to them, إِنَّكُمْ لَتَأْتُونَ. Now he is, in the Quran comes in many ways, like in Surah Al-Ankabut comes the same, but in a question mark. This one he's affirming. Do you do that? إِنَّكُمْ لَتَأْتُونَ الرِّجَالَ شَهْوَةً. You approach men out of lust and desire, مِن دُونِ النِّسَاءِ, but not women. And no, see how he described them. إِنَّكُمْ قَوْمٌ مُسْرِفُونَ. You are absolutely transgressor. Is that a compliment? Is that a compliment? Is that something okay? What's the problem? the Quran and see what Allah is telling us. He actually said one time Musrifun, sometimes says Mujrimun, another one says Adun. Mujrimun, you're criminals, Adun, you are actually, again, transgressors. What did they say? We hear this these days. That's why I'm sharing this and I want you to read it. وَمَا كَانَ جَوَابَ قَوْمِهِ إِلَّا أَنْ قَالُوا أَخْرِجُوهُمْ مِنْ قَرْيَتِكُمْ إِنَّهُمْ أُنَاسٌ يَتَطَهَّرُونَ. Who can tell me what is Allah saying here? He says, people responded, get them out with him and his people. Why? What did they do? What did they do? Look how they describe. إِنَاسٌ يَتَطَهَّرُونَ. They are too pure for us. Do you want to be pure? Do you want to be pure? Is that a compliment? So when someone compliments something, that's something normal, that's something good, that's something praised. إِنَّهُمْ أُنَاسٌ يَتَطَهَّرُونَ. Surah Al-Shu'ara is the same thing. And then, here, Allah described the incident. And this is how we interact with the LGBT. Because he interacted with them. He was here. The angels came to his house. And the angels came in the form of men. Very well, nice-looking men. And who told them that there is a guest in the house? His wife. That's why. And this is also very important for us. Because the argument is his wife didn't do it. She didn't. But she helped in it. And so when I don't do something but I allow it to happen or I support it, I need to know this. I need to know this. Now remember, I don't support it doesn't mean I am looking down at people or I'm going to... It's just I don't support it. Because when I support it, I'm the wife of Lut. And then they came to him and then يُهْرَؤُونَ إِلَيْهِ. They heard it because they were very nice looking men. They came, oh, only 3 minutes. Jazakallah khair. Already. Time. And he said, gave them the alternative. Here, this is my daughters. None of you are wise. Can't you think of this? And then, this is repeated. This verse, the first part, repeatedly in the Quran. أَنْجَيْنَاهُ. He and his people, meaning those who did not do it, except his wife. Now look at, this is the only punishment. Also in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the rain. Big, huge stones, very hot. فَأَمْطَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ حِجَارَةً مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. Another place, سِجِّيلٍ مَنْضُودٍ. And then not only that, he turned the earth upside down on them. You turn upside down the fitrah, the instinct, Allah turned down, because usually the punishment is from the same as what we do. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned it upside down on them. This is again, that's in Surah Al-Hijr, same here, talking to the angels. Why you are here, angels? He said, we were sent to qawm mujrimeen, criminals. Now the name is criminals, right? And then illa ala. If you are the only one in your school, you are the only one in your workplace, you are the only one in your neighborhood. This is what we learn from the Quran, and we live the Quran. If I'm the only one that I don't accept it, I am like the people of the people who were with Sayyidina illa ala. I want to be of those illa accept. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. And his wife, then she was from those. And that's the other one. I'm going to pass this quickly. This is in Surah Al-Hijr. But I want to come to the next one. This is Sayyid Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And this is very emotional hadith, where he was sitting with the Sahaba and they saw his face changed. And they said, we hear him, he's going to say something that is going to be very emotional. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, as if you are telling us something that you are leaving. And he said the following, and this is to everybody. And I'm going to put it in English so everyone can follow me. Here you go. And he said, people, I counsel you to have Allah conscious and to listen and to obey. This is to everybody in this room. This is your Rasul, my Rasul is telling me this. I can't change it. I can't go out because everybody else is doing it and I change. I need to listen to what he said and obey it and ask Allah to make it easy. Verily, he among you who lives long, look at this. Those of you who will live long, you will see great controversy. So you must keep to my sunnah and to the sunnah of the guided Khalifa. He said, "Uddu alayha bin nawajid," grab it with your molar teeth, meaning tight, because you're going to be very few. Time is up. Okay, I have to stop. I will stop here, alhamdulillah, because I just wanted to say I'm going to cover this in my next one, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه تسليما كثيرا.
Alhamdulillah. So we've covered introduction to the subject and the story of Prophet Lut. And the next